So the WNBA's Angel Wilson problem is not going to go away because it has highlighted the hypocrisy amongst players, amongst media, and I'm not even going to say it with fans because these are the type of things that are absolutely crickets in the media and amongst players. Not one word to be said about Angel Wilson, but they expect Caitlin Clark to solve freaking... They expect basically a 22-year-old to solve racism in the world. And you've got Angel Wilson, who is like it's mad. Like she's friends with the most problematic of the online trolls, and the worst part about this is that it has opened up a can of worms that is not good. So Angel Wilson, somebody called her out here. She said this. Said don't comment, I can't help it, but if strongly disliking someone so bad, I wouldn't spend a pinch. It's like, I think it's a hypocrisy problem. It's nothing about not liking Angel Wilson. Like, I'm sorry, when Angel Wilson doesn't do or say some ridiculous stuff or like promote this horrible person, like as like basically endorse this horrible person, I don't say anything. When Angel Wilson's just, like, if you watch during the season, when Angel Wilson's just hooping, she's just hooping. She's a hell of a basketball player. Probably best in the world at the minute. Between her and Afisa Collier. But, like, she's really good at basketball. I don't think anyone's going to question that. And, like, it's just everything outside of basketball is just awful. But it's the hypocrisy in it. Someone said, it's just a double standard. You're literally friends with a child abuser. And again, alleged. Like, the guy was charged with it. But again, I'll always say it is where it's like, labeling someone as something that bad, I don't know. Unless the guy was jailed, I wouldn't label him as that. But yeah, like if he did what he's accused of, then fair play. I'm just trying to save my own ass by not putting those two words on him. Man who trashed your co-workers, exactly. Wished injuries on others, which he did. Don't try telling anyone this upcoming season to speak up on anything because you don't practice what you preach. He said, won't hear a peep from me next season. Straight work. Heard you, Mama Rose. So it's like, and my favorite part about this is when Caitlin Clark basically just said, I want to hoop, I don't want to deal with all this stuff. The whole Dejanay went mad, all the loads of WNBA players went mad about that, about her speaking up on random online trolls. But when Angel Wilson does it, you get Erica Wheeler out here defending her. It's like, yeah, basically, what did Erica Wheeler say? It's like, Aja, keep doing what you're doing or something. And I'm like, that's the double standard. That is absolutely the double standard here. And all it's ended up doing now is it has got people digging up tweets from that Angel Wilson made when she was 17 that are some of the most vile things I've ever read. And I'm not going to judge Angel Wilson based on what she did when she was 17. But I'm going to make this point right now. Is she was a Twitter troll. She was one of the Twitter trolls. Like everyone talks and blames Caitlin Clark and all of this, including Angel Wilson's basically blamed Caitlin Clark for all the bad things in the WNBA. And I'm not going to say she's sorry. I'm not going to say she's blamed it. She's definitely implied Caitlin Clark's at fault for all this stuff. She was one of the trolls. I'm sorry, like, she's how many years older than Caitlin Clark? I'm sorry, a 10-year-old Caitlin Clark was not forcing Angel Wilson to say some of the stuff that she said about Brittany Griner. Some of the stuff that ridiculous stuff that she said about other people. But again, I'm not going to judge her from that because she was a teenager. Like if you look at almost anyone's tweets outside of Caitlin Clark, who they've tried to, whether it be last year, this year, they've gone through and tried to find her saying something ridiculous when, no, as squeaky clean as it gets. As squeaky clean as it gets because, you know, not everyone's going to say awful things. But at the same time, like, you don't judge a 28-year-old by their actions at 16. It's just a hypocrisy because she was the troll. She's one of these people when it comes to the WNBA players. When the Dr. Philip Oliver Holes Twitter account, who's never mentioned anything in the WNBA before and just starts giving abuse to random players, it is Caitlin Clark fan attacks Dejanay Carrington on social media. Dr. Philip Oliver Holes. Like, this account suddenly is a Caitlin Clark fan, and it's Caitlin Clark fans bad. But you know, when actually one of the players was one of those Twitter trolls, silence, because you can't talk out about Angel Wilson. When Angel Wilson is friends with a guy who has been who lost his job because he allegedly punched a kid and has called, I'm not even going to repeat what this guy said about Jonquel Jones. Like, what he said about Jonquel Jones is disgusting. The stuff he has said about Angel Reese is disgusting. The stuff he said about Paige Beckers is disgusting. And AJ Wilson's friends with this guy and is like, has been called out about it for a year and won't do anything because she knows she's untouchable. And that's where the problems lie with all of this. Like, you've now got like AJ Wilson defriends friendship amidst fan backlash, navigating the complexities of online relationships. It's not even an online relationship, it's a real life relationship. There's about 15 pictures of them together. They were sitting beside each other, like at games, like there's an actual friendship there. And that's the thing. She's basically gone out there and defended the friendship and then said, you guys care too much. You're the one who empowered a hate mob against a 22-year-old. You're the one who said you were scared to play in Indiana. Like, you're the one who took an interview when you knew you had a shoe deal and then played victim, pretending you didn't have a shoe deal, played victim because Caitlin Clark, who does not have a shoe, signed a contract with Nike. Was there a peep when Angel Reese signed a contract with Reebok? No. Was there a peep when before Caitlin Clark signed with Nike, Cam Brink signed with Under Armour? No. Like, that's the whole thing. That's the problem with it. And look, I'm not out here like in all of these situations. I'm not out here going to criticize AJ Wilson for old tweets, because I think that there are a lot of good people that said dumb shit when they were teenagers. And I will always stand by that. The problem is the hypocrisy on her part. The problem is blaming a 22-year-old for a random ass Twitter troll when 13 years ago, you were that random ass Twitter troll. Was it Sue Bird's fault that you were a Twitter troll and you were into the WNBA? Who was your like idol in the WNBA? I don't know. Obviously some of the stuff said about Brittany Griner, who was in 2012. I'm trying to think. Was Maya Moore around that year? Nneka Nwumike? Which of those players were rivals of Brittany Griner? That if it was in today, if the same attitude was put towards those players for how Twitter trolls reacted, you were that Twitter troll. So who might you have been? Like Brittany Griner's Baylor coming up against UConn with Maya Moore or Nneka Nwumike Stanford. Is it Nneka's fault what you did? Is it Maya Moore's fault? No, it's not. But there's the hypocrisy. The problem is the hypocrisy. The problem is that Angel, like, she said dumb shit and it's been found, and that's fine. It's nothing. But you're going to blame a squeaky clean 22-year-old for the actions of random online Twitter trolls when you were a Twitter troll yourself. And sure as hell, you're not going to be blaming any of these other players for how you're reacting, because it's bullshit. Everybody knows it is. And then AJ Wilson's like, oh, why are people talking if they don't like it? It's because people are pointing out the hypocrisy. People are not only pointing out the hypocrisy, people are pointing out the fact that people like her were at least partially responsible for the hate a random 22-year-old got. The targeted hate a random 22-year-old got for no reason. For absolutely no reason. Like, there is nobody that is more squeaky clean than Caitlin Clark. There's not. You will not find anything unless you are if you are an Ohio State fan. You have every right in the world to hate Caitlin Clark. The stuff that she pulled in Ohio State, dear Lord. Like, some of the things Iowa Caitlin Clark pulled, fair enough. But like, it's just rivalries then. You can hate someone based on rivalry. Like, I'm a Leeds United fan. Like, I didn't like anyone on the red side of Manchester, and I still won't. I won't even say the team's name. But like, you've got AJ Wilson, who is, again, whenever something doesn't go her way, it's cry victim. When she doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, it's a big issue. When she didn't win MVP the year before, it was such a big issue. When 5 games into the season, they hinted maybe she won't win it unanimously. Or was it Rebecca Lobo? I think she said something along the lines of AJ Wilson's MVP and it could be the first unanimous MVP. Because she said the word could, people were trying to get her fired from her job. Like this is all the problems when it comes to Angel Wilson. It's not, and a lot of the time, it's not even Angel Wilson's actions. It is the reactions to everyone around her when she does not get everything her way. And it's just not. It's not a good thing. And not all of this goes down to her, by the way. Her as a person. The figure of Angel Wilson. And that's the thing where it's like, who does Angel Wilson have unveiling her shoe? Cheryl freaking Swoops. Cheryl Swoops. You've got somebody who, again, has worked with the WNBA. I don't know if she's worked for them, but definitely worked with the WNBA. Commenting under your man Dolores' posts in a positive way. You look at your man Dolores starts a Twitter space where they're just hating on WNBA players. All of these WNBA people that are complaining about not getting the media opportunities are in that Twitter space. And suddenly you click on one of them and suddenly they're doing a podcast with Cheryl Swoops and you're like, yeah, you can see why. Angel Wilson is the damn queen bee of the most toxic WNBA, of the most toxic section of the WNBA. And it is a big problem. And it's going to be a big problem as long as the media are scared to not call her out on anything. On anything. Like, she's so invincible that she isn't even doing what other players do when they've got, problematic friends. Because there's so many players that are problematic friends, problematic people around them. Don't interact with them publicly. Like, I'd be shocked if Ja Morant is not still friends with a lot of those guys that got him in trouble, but he's just not doing it publicly. Angel Wilson's doing it publicly, cries victim whenever she gets called out, and is basically rubbing it in everyone's face. I'm friends with the worst person, one of the worst people around. So yeah, it's just not a good situation all around. And again, like, you're seeing a lot of things. I'm looking through social media and being like villainized for like tweets when she was 16. I'm like, I think a lot of good people said dumb shit, so I don't really said dumb shit at that age. So I really don't care about that. It's just the hypocrisy of it all. Every single thing you look at with Angel Wilson, there is just hypocrisy everywhere. And there's a reason why she's not the face of WNBA. You cannot make the least likable player in the league the face. And I'm sorry, like, I'm genuinely think there are more redeeming personality character. Like Kennedy Carter might be a better character than Angel Wilson, because at least Kennedy Carter, she has absolutely no filter, but at least you know what you're going to get. You're going to get craziness. And it's just madness looking at all this. It's madness. And I stand by what I said 5 months ago. Angel Wilson would burn down the WNBA as long as she is sitting on top of the ashes. But anyway, I'll see you guys.